Hello everyone, my name is Abby Bliss White and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do another fun comparison foundation review, and this time I was asked if I would review the Guerlain Parure Gold. I know I'm butchering that, sorry. As well as the Guerlain Essential Natural Glow Foundation. So you guys, these two foundations, you guys have been wondering a little bit about the differences between the two of these and how they actually wear throughout the day. So if you are interested in learning more about these two foundations, and particularly if you are looking for a foundation that is good for your more mature, dry skin, let's take this on a little bit of a road test today and see which one you like better. Okay, let's get these on my face. We are gonna do the left side with the Parure Gold from Guerlain, and I'm sure I am butchering the pronunciation. And then we're gonna use the Guerlain Essential Glow Foundation on my right side. Okay, you guys, I've got two different IT Cosmetics brushes that I'm going to be using to apply this foundation. I tend to like both of those, using a little bit of fingertips and a little bit of a brush. So first off, you guys, I am in the shade 02 in the Guerlain, and we're gonna give you a swatch of each. And then I am in the shade 02 Neutral in this guy. So let's swatch these guys for you. Here is shade 2 in the Gold Radiance Foundation. And here is shade 2 in the Essential Guerlain Foundation. So as you can already see, guys, one side is going to be a slightly more peachy, I would almost say more warm. And then this one, you guys, is gonna be your more neutral shade here. So my face sides are not gonna be exact just like the other one. So when we are doing this test, just please know that you may end up liking one better than the other due to the tone on my face. So this is not apples to apples, but it will be interesting. I know a lot of you had wanted me to do this. The other thing we need to just mention, this is exclusive to Selfridges. So if you are wanting to order this, that is going to be, you're going to need to order from Selfridges, and there is a $55 yearly global shipping cost. But the price of this is going to be a little bit less than if it was sold in the US, it would probably be marketed much more expensive. So what we're talking about here, you guys, is this is $60. You can get this at Sephora as well as other retailers. This is only at Selfridges. This retails for $70, but you do need to pay a one-time fee for the global shipping. But that being said, you guys, they have a lot of brands at Selfridges, such as Sicily, Tom Ford, some others that are going to be cheaper. So it's definitely worth checking out. I have resisted for a long time, and now, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did it. Okay, let's go ahead and take this guy here, the gold one. So you guys, the consistency of the gold is very nice and creamy. It's not real watery. And I would say definitely has the Guerlain perfume smell in it. So right there, if you cannot do fragrance, this is not going to be your favorite. This one definitely smells like their traditional. If you have meteorites, I'm gonna take this down. We're just gonna kind of place some of this on. Going to now buff this side in with my IT Cosmetics. This is half of my face with the Parure Gold. And as you can see, you guys, really pretty Radiance here definitely has some coverage. I would definitely say medium coverage on this guy over here. Now, since I've tried both of these, that would probably be my first off thing I would tell you is this one's going to have more of a light to medium versus I find this to be kind of a straight up medium foundation. So taking one moment looking at this here in the mirror. Okay, let's go ahead and put the Guerlain on this side. Okay, you guys, I'm putting, this was the first one, and as you can see, this is a teeny bit more runny and a little bit more, not quite as thick. It's a little bit more liquidy than the other one. And I'm going to dot this on. Using a different It Cosmetics, we're gonna buff this in. We've got the Guerlain Natural Glow Foundation on this side. I think you could probably already tell, or I can, but when I'm looking at these two straight ahead, I definitely see more glow as this Guerlain Glow Foundation claims to be. And then this side, the Parure Gold is really saying more radiance, so I think there is a difference. When we have a little bit more glowy, almost dewy on this side versus on this side, I find that this is giving me more of a satin radiant finish. That's going to be one difference right off the bat between the two of them when you are thinking about purchasing. Okay, so if you are looking for something that is going to be, I feel like this one is more skin-like and more glowy versus this one, I'm feeling like I'm getting more coverage and I'm still getting that lovely peak. I feel like my skin still looks healthy, if that makes sense. It doesn't look like it doesn't look super flat. Still kind of giving me a nice glow. I'm gonna bring you in a little closer so we can examine both sides. This is the Guerlain Essential Natural Glow Foundation. Definitely seeing some lovely glow on this side. And I feel like it looks a little bit more skin-like on this side. Otherwise, I feel like they're wearing the same in these little laugh line areas as well as the pores. This is the Guerlain Parure Gold. And again, you guys, it giving me a very lovely kind of radiance on my skin. But I definitely want to see if you guys can see. One seems dewier and then one seems a little bit more radiant. Okay, for the purposes of this video, let's finish off my makeup and then we will move on and see how this wears throughout the day. I'm going to be using my Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. Gotta use a little bit of this. You guys, I have hit pan. I've had this for years and I still absolutely love it. I like to use it with my Real Technique stippling brush over here. For concealer today, you guys, I'm gonna use two of my favorites. I like to use the Chanel Rose Corrector just right here in my dark spots, and then use a little bit of the By Terry just on top of it. And I am in the shade 4, medium peach. So I've got a little rose and then a little peach going on top, and I'm just gonna use a teeny bit, and I'm not going to be putting concealer all over my face. I'm just gonna put it directly under my eyes. This is one of my favorites. If you are exhausted, like I might be today, this is your best friend. It is going to brighten up your eye so much. So do you see how that just brightened up just a little bit? I love this stuff. We're just gonna take a little bit of this. I picked this one because it's a very nice thin consistency, so it's not gonna give me overly affect the results of this foundation wear test. On my cheeks today, you guys, we're going to use one of my favorite cream blushes, and this is from Kier Weiss, and this is in Desired Glow. So just going to put a little bit of this guy on. It's kind of a nice little glowy neutral shade here. We're going to put just a little on both sides here. I already did my eyes this morning, you guys. I did a combination of Tom Ford Cocoa Mirage with a little bit of nude dip on top. So if you are wondering what I am wearing, that is it. I will list everything below in the description box. And then I'm gonna pull out my House of Sillage lipstick, and this is in Night. I do not have a fancy case, but this is one of my favorite lipsticks of all time. I already have it on my lips, guys. We'll just touch up just a little bit. This has such a lovely texture. So you guys, they're very balm-like, and they really stay, and they sort of stain your lips, which I really like. I think this is a really good color. This is Night. The other one that I want is Countess. I think that one looks gorgeous. Okay, you guys, I am going to powder just down the T-zone because I would most likely do that, but we're gonna keep the outer bands of the foundation the same, so we could really kind of see what the wear test is. I'm just taking my classic Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. I feel like this is a good one for these purposes because it's very kind of universal, not too glowy or anything like that. I'm just gonna go right down the T-zone, around my nose, you guys, just where I'm gonna break through with some oils here and just bring it down. I don't think I want to, again, you know, I guess we'll do a little over here, but I just want you to be able to see the glow factor because some of you may be picking out one of those foundations, one of these foundations for that exact reason. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the differences. So one thing I'm going to tell you that's going to be easy for some of you guys is that the Essential Natural Glow Foundation is exactly that. This has 97% natural plant-derived ingredients, whereas this one, you guys, is more of what I would consider a traditional foundation. This has fragrance and it has a touch of alcohol in it. So right there, if those are two things that are not going to work for your skin type, then this one's going to be knocked out. If you are looking for a more natural skin-like foundation that has SPF, then both of these contain SPF. This one has SPF 30, whereas this one has SPF 20. So this is described as a full coverage foundation that offers 24 hours of wear, hydration, and a radiant, rejuvenating effect. Deliver flawless, even, and radiant complexion and covers blemishes. So this makes a little bit more sense, you guys. I would say this is probably why I initially loved this a little bit more, was because it was giving me that kind of really flawless coverage, and that makes sense because I thought it was described as a medium. This is actually described as a full coverage. This comes in 12 shades versus this one comes in 30 different shades. It says that it is sweat proof, heat resistance, and adapts to every season and region. So this does have some skincare benefits in it, you guys. It is a skin perfecting formula that includes an ingredient that targets collagen, which is going to help with cell turnover, and it has smoothing properties. There is light reflective pigments in this foundation that is going to give you a radiant complexion, and it's paired with a hint of 24 karat gold. So there we go, you guys. This one is going to be more of your full coverage radiant, and especially if you have blemishes, I think this is going to help cover it more. Now, so you guys, this is going to give you a more luminous, fresh, glowy, natural looking complexion. And I would actually say when I'm looking at myself straight ahead, you guys, that's exactly what I see. I feel like this one looks dewy and kind of like skin. I feel like this side is sort of like your much more perfected, flawless side. So it's sort of going to depend on what you are looking for in your foundation. If you need more coverage, then you're gonna want to go with this. If you don't need more coverage and you want that kind of fresh, natural look, you're gonna want the Guerlain. This one is also targeted as an anti-pollution foundation, and I'm noticing more and more like skincare and foundations that are targeted towards that. So right here, you guys, we're coming up with many of the differences of these foundations. So I'm hoping this is going to help you kind of pick because honestly, I don't think we're comparing apples to apples. These are both Guerlain. They are both beautiful foundations, but one is going to be I feel like you're going to be able to pick one or the other due to just the finish alone. One thing I will tell you is that because this one has fragrance and alcohol in the ingredient deck, I'm not going to use this as an everyday foundation, but I will say I love the absolute coverage of it. I feel like my face looks perfected and I still think it looks healthy and fresh. But I do love a little extra coverage. That's just me, you guys. I'm someone who really leans more towards that medium, not necessarily full. And I will tell you, to me, this guy is maybe not exactly a full coverage. I guess I could probably build it up to that, but it does perfect your skin. Over here, we are looking at one of our day-to-day perfect foundations for when you want that healthy, fresh glow. This has the plant-derived ingredients in this, but again, they both contain fragrance, okay? This one smells like, to me, classic Guerlain. If you have their meteorites or any of their other foundations, lingerie de peau and such, this is what that one smells like to me. This guy definitely has a fragrance, and to me it smells a touch like SPF with a light floral on top to sort of mask that. So I smell the SPF in this guy a little bit more than I do in this other Guerlain. I wanted to show you the foundations that now that they have oxidized. So now, as you can see, they are almost similar in color. I mean, not exact, but my two natural, when we first put it on, looked like it was going to be a little bit lighter. As it is oxidized, it has definitely darkened compared to when I first put these on. This is about 30 minutes of the foundation oxidizing. These both contain titanium dioxide as the natural SPF in the foundations. So that makes me happy because my skin tends to do the best with that form of foundation. But as I have said in previous videos, I don't rely on having SPF in my foundations. I'm always going to put on my own SPF as part of my skincare because I never really understood like how much foundation I would need to put on to actually get a 30 or get a 20. So I always think of this as bonus if there is some SPF in it. And oftentimes I look for foundations without it just because my skin can be fussy with it. And I just prefer to use my own favorite SPF on my skin. My favorite one, you guys, as you probably already know, is my Glow Beauty Solar Shade SPF 50. That is what I use before pretty much any of my makeup videos. So in case you are wondering, I did not put any primer on. I just had on bare face with, of course, skincare and my SPF. I am popping in midday to do a quick little check-in for you on these two sides. So I have to be honest, I think they look about the same. I am seeing a little bit more glowiness on the Guerlain L'Essential Natural Glow Foundation because this is a glowy foundation. So in here, you guys, I feel like one thing I'm noticing is just that this one is wearing a little bit more like skin. And the other one that is more of a full coverage foundation is kind of wearing, when you look in the mirror in the car, you can tell that I am definitely wearing some makeup. It is not like super heavy. This is definitely melding into my skin, but you can see just a little bit more of a layer that looks like makeup on the full coverage side. So that makes complete sense to me. And I also think that the interesting thing for me is I feel like these have a time and a place in your repertoire. To me, this is your day-to-day foundation when you just want that natural kind of healthy skin look. This to me is going to be it when I want a little bit more. Maybe I'm going out on the town. Not that I do that often. Or just more, maybe a little bit more special event, because I really feel like this makes your skin look more flawless. Okay, so that's what I would say so far. I am still okay. It's a little bit shinier on the glowy side. So again, around this time, if I was the type who would actually touch up during the day, this would be the time to do it, maybe a little through the T-zone. I don't tend to mind having my oils come out during the day. I'm kind of a no fuss. I love makeup, you guys. I just don't tend to touch it up throughout the day, if that makes sense. I'm just someone who puts it on in the morning, enjoys it, and then I'm kind of done with it. So real quick, this foundation, I put this on around 8:30 in the morning. We are now around 1:30 p.m. and I'm gonna do another check-in a little bit later, you guys, so you can see this, but I wanted to give you sort of the what was happening around that 5-hour mark. Glowy Guerlain Glow Foundation. I think you're going to be getting exactly what it says. And then we've got the more Radiance, the Parure Gold. And again, I think this is more of a radiant, a little bit more flawless coverage on my other side. Okay, you guys, I will check back in one more time and hope this is helpful. Quickly come on and give you a little check-in so you can see how this has basically worn for most of the day. And then we can talk final thoughts. Okay, guys, this is the Guerlain side. And basically, as you can see, definitely glowy. This one has worn pretty darn well, like from what I expect of it. Basically a very skin-like foundation. Nice glowy. It's not going to have as much coverage. And it tends to just sort of, you get a little bit of a glow during your T-zone with this guy. So I think this is probably very well suited for normal, combo, dry. I think if you have oily, you may really enjoy this as well, but it's definitely going to be something that you're going to want to touch up with powder. So again, I don't have oily skin, but I suspect they tend to want to focus on more of those kind of mattes, velvet mattes. Versus the dewy, if their skin is already naturally dewy. Kind of jealous of you guys. Okay, you always want what you don't have. Okay, on this side, you guys, it has worn very well. And as I said, I think with this guy previously, I just feel like you can tell that I'm wearing a little layer of makeup. It doesn't look super heavy or cakey. It just is fuller coverage, and so it appears that way on the skin. But one thing that I am liking is that even though my oils have popped through a little bit on this side, it still looks radiant. It looks fresh. It looks healthy. It's not overly dewy. Now I do have some light still coming in on this side. Let me see if I can move you just a little, guys. I actually have light coming on both sides, but but one has more shade. Okay, one more little showing here. Okay, I hope this was helpful, you guys. Basically what I'm going to tell you is I don't think these are like two very similar kind of foundations. I think they're two separate ones. This one contains alcohol. It has fragrance in it. It has a beautiful radiant finish. It has more coverage, and they did mention that this is going to be better for someone who suffers from blemishes, or that it's going to give you more coverage. This guy is going to have cleaner ingredients. It still has fragrance, and it is also, there's a lot more shade range with this guy, but it is going to be more of a skin-like, dewy, fresh, natural foundation, just like it's describing. I do think it is long wear, and I'm finding that if I had to pick one or the other for a long wear look, I probably am going to pick this because I feel like it's going to give me the most flawless look overall, for just if it was something I really wanted to, it was a special event and I really needed my makeup to look pretty darn good, I'm probably going to go with this guy. So those are basically the differences between the two, how they wear, and then of course I would love to see which side you guys like better. And again, the tones ended up, once they oxidized, you guys, they ended up being pretty darn close. So that's, again, if you are a light medium, I tend to go with a neutral undertone, then I think 2 will work for you. This is 2 in. And then we have a whole other discussion to talk about. And that's going to be undertones. I think I may have been buying the wrong foundations all these years. So I will talk more about that in another video. But you guys, I hope this was helpful. Have a fabulous rest of your day. And I've got some really fun stuff coming up, as well as a special video that will be going up next week with like basically all of these new foundations and how I'm going to be ranking them. And I've got a couple more that we will be testing this week. So stay tuned. And as always, thank you so much. You guys are awesome.